Being a dentist can be super awesome. It's also super exhausting. And at times, it makes you want to cry on the inside part of your body, like my drawing here. What are things that happen that might make you want to cry in your dental office? The class 2 ring thing flies off the tooth, falls onto the ground. You turn to your assistant and say, can I have another class 2 ring thingy? And your assistant says, is this one good? And you look down and it's a mangled pedo one. And you say, perfect, this one will have to do. You cry inside. Your amazing team is doing an amazing job fighting over who took the last roll of paper towels. One of the most cry inside inducing thing, insurance adjustments. Insurance just pay us less, even though it costs more to run a dental practice. Totally nacho nuts. So what can we do on Talking Nachos? Figure out ways to make us feel like this. Develop our dental core. And I have friends, sponsors, key resources you're going to hear from that help dentists cry less inside, help you increase your success and decrease stress. I'm ready for my first guest. It's one of my favorite things to do. Share with you people in your dentisting neighborhood who can help you. So Ariel, you can bring up. Awesome. So I have fellow dentist who is way smarter than me on so many levels, but she chose to not check hygiene. She chose to not have to deal with dentures. She chose to not have to do class 2s. Dr. Sonia, shares with us what you do in your daily dental life.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Sonia Chopra, and I am a board-certified endodontist in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm also co-founder, well, not co-founder, I'm the founder. What am I talking about? Of eSchool, Everyday Endo Made Easy, which is my online endo education course that I created a few years ago. And I now get to do my passion, which is really teaching.
Awesome. I like that. You're helping dentists do better endo, or better yet, we'll talk about it in a few minutes, know what to do and what not to. But I want to ask you a question first. Do you miss doing partial dentures? Do you wish you can go back to bend a class and have it fly off the whole partial? Do you miss that?
Not at all. I can't, I couldn't do a denture to save my life. And I
bet you it's nice when you finish the endo and they go, what kind of crown? What's this? Yeah, someone else deals with that. You can ask your general dentist. I need to fill another room. No one once has complained about the color of gutta percha either. Very nice thing. So I love what you're doing. I followed you online. You do things to help dentists. Break down for us, what is eSchool? What is it designed to do? What are some of the dentists doing that have done it? Would love to learn more.
Yeah, eSchool is really designed to fill in the education gap. At least I got 2 weeks of an endodontic didactic education in dental school. And then I was only required to do 4 root canals. And then I was told, okay, you can do root canals. I actually was a GP who did a ton of root canals when I started. And now in retrospect, now that I'm an endodontist, I see, oh my God, look at all the things that I did wrong. I missed MB2s all the time. And I just believed that they weren't there. And I started lecturing in my community after I started my own practice, and I started to see that people just had the same questions. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. I think we just need more of this. And I think that we need to make it in a way, because as dentists, as practice owners, when we're running our own business, when we have our families, we need to learn in a way that makes sense. We can't keep closing our practice. We can't keep flying and leaving our kids behind. Right. We needed to find a smart way. So I created an online course that really kind of is like a endodontic residency smushed all in a nice little package that you can access from anywhere, anytime, any device. And it just fits into everybody's life.
And that's so key, because one of the things I'll share, I did a multi-year general practice residency, and I just went to speak the other night, which was great. I told them one of the things that they're learning is they're learning how hard things are and when you don't want to do things. So what I always share with dentists is, even if you don't want to do all your own endo, at least know what you want to do, what you don't want to do, where you're going to get yourself into trouble. I mean, I'm sure as a GP, and we've all done it, you started a case and you just think halfway through the case, I never should have started this case. Or there's cases that are straightforward that you can tackle in your practice. Do you take the online component and also put that together with a hands-on component? Can people come and see what you do and actually treat patients?
Yeah, actually, there's 3 ways to take the course. You can just get the content and digest it on your own, which I actually never suggest doing. Or you can get group coaching with me. So you actually get me alongside to help you get through the course and create that accountability, but also add that extra layer of information where we can talk specifics about your problems and your specific questions. And then I also now have eSchool Live, which is a live patient hands-on course where I take 5 dentists at a time. So it's a very small group, COVID friendly, right? And you come into my practice, you get to use all my toys, my microscope, all my gadgets, and you get to perform root canals on live patients. Like extracted teeth just doesn't correlate to real life. Like when
it was like the dentiform from dental school. It's like, I don't think during the procedure I can just rip the patient's whole head off, hold it here, and polish the inside. So and a couple of things you said there were so key is that, you know, I help dentists connect for jobs. Dentist Job Connect's one of my favorite things to do, one of my favorite nacho toppings. But it's almost like practice owners forget what it was like to go to dental school, because they say, Paul, Jill, I want an associate out of dental school that can do molar endo. I go, could you do molar endo out of a dental school? Like, no. I'm like, well, it's gotten worse, not better. And I mean, we could talk the whole Talking Nachos about this challenge, but to just put it diplomatically, the clinical reps that dental students are getting in some of this very difficult stuff is not adequate to then go do it in private practice. But there's opportunities for them to help patients be more productive, help their community. I mean, I practice in Center City, Philadelphia. So sometimes, I mean, I practice in New Jersey, live in Center City. Sometimes I forget that there isn't an endodontist on every block for people. Sometimes this is actually a real community service, because your endodontist could be an hour, 2 hours away. So you're actually just trying to do more for your patients. So I love it.
Or even they're booked out, right? Like, well, what if you get that Friday afternoon patient who's dying? Like every general dentist needs to know how to at least get them out of pain, you know, and you still got to access, you still got to find the canals, you got to do that pulpectomy. And so it's so vital for general dentists to know this.
And tell me this, Sonia, because I know this through doing implants and a lot of the things in dental school, the dental student Hunger Games, we're taught to compete instead of collaborate. But why as an endodontist, are you glad that your general referrals know more about endo? How does that help you as an endodontist when they are more well-trained in endo?
So let's start with just the diagnostic standpoint. Like when they know how to diagnose when it's actually endo pain and not like something that's non-restorable or a periodontal pain, then I'm getting quality referrals into my practice. They actually need treatment and convert into treatment. I'm more available for my community to take on true dental emergencies, you know, not just diagnosing and saying you don't need endo. So like just on the diagnostic piece, it's so important. So there's a ton of people who like, oh, I don't need endo. I don't need to do that. I don't need to learn that. But actually you do, because the first stop for the patient is your office and you triage them. And so you need to make sure they land at the right spot. I have a lot of patients who get super frustrated when I'm like, sorry, I need to refer you to so-and-so because this is actually a periodontal problem.
They feel it's a wasted appointment. So yeah, that's just so key. So, you know, there's plenty of endo for everyone to share, just like Nachos.
There really is. Like we have 32 teeth, right? There's 32 chances for every single person to need an endo. So,
and it just raises the game for everybody. So I love that. I'm a huge fan of online learning, whether it's personal or whether it's what we produce. I'm also a fan of in-person learning. We just had the Perio Amigos, Dimitri and Fadi, come to Philadelphia. You got to follow them. They did soft tissue grafting, hands-on on models. So it's just so key to do this. Sonia, if somebody's watching and they're like, I see Dr. Nacho talking to Dr. Sonia, how can they reach out to you to learn more about eSchool?
Well, you can always find me on Instagram at Sonia Chopra DDS. You can find me on my website, soniachopradds.com. There's tons of free content there. I write a weekly blog that will tell you an awesome tooth story that will, I promise you, relate to a patient that you've seen in your practice and make you even better at what you do. And you can also email me at sonia@soniachopradds.com.
Awesome, Sonia. Hang around for a little bit. Love you, Sharon. Thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
So first, cry reducing topping, learning endo for a GP with Dr. Sonia Chopra. I'm ready for my next guest here. We're going to go all over the map with mind, words, hands, business skills, clinical skills. So I have Neil Mahoney, the president of MLive. Love the name of your company, Neil, but if this was just the first time someone heard about it, what does MLive do and how do you guys help dentists cry less inside?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me. So at the end of the day, MLive is a complete patient attraction and nurturing system. So we are a done-for-you patient attraction and engagement platform combined with automation software that reaches thousands of patients and prospects at scale. So you want new patients, we're here to help. You want to engage with your existing patients, we're here to help do that as well. And it's all about automation, so we alleviate the stress and the requirements of your staff.
That's great. And one of the things, I've been a dentist for 19 years. I've had friends for 19 years. Some friends, they're my friends, but they're not easy to deal with, right? Some patients, they're my patients, also not easy to deal with. So you also work hard to get dentists the right patients for them. Tell us more about that with the high value treatment or the stuff they want to do.
Yeah, no problem. And even it relates to the conversation you just had with Sonia, so there's a lot of general practitioners that are looking to focus in on certain treatments or high value treatments. And there's a very nuanced way that we on the front end will help our clients get in front of new patients who are interested in those treatments or in need of that care. So it's all about tailored marketing, but it's also very much about authoritative content. So one of the differentiators for MLive that we feel is a differentiator, because there's a lot of marketing automation platforms out there, is the quality of our content. We partner with a lot of thought leaders, a lot of keynotes in each area of specialty, and we're part of the Advantage Forbes family, which gives us access to a ton of incredibly qualified and solid content creators and writers. So we combine our marketing expertise with the quality of content to zero in on the areas of specialty.
That's so key. I mean, using all that to move people forward, which is a phrase from my favorite books, To Sell is Human. Everyone on this call listening, this should read To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink. If you've read it, you're like, yeah, that's the best book ever. It just shares with us how we move people forward authentically, but how sales is a big part of what we do, because it's, we're selling help. Dentists often, Neil, I don't know if you went to dental school, maybe you want to go one day. For some reason, I don't know why this is a thing. Sonia can tell us. I don't know, Kristen, she's from Canada, maybe it's different. They charge dental students $500,000. And then when they get there, they don't teach them about money at all, but they're good at charging. Maybe they should teach about money, but it just talks about how marketing, getting the right people, is how you keep your office open, how you keep helping people. It sounds like MLive is a big player in that. Walk me through a little bit, like one client, right? Like if I say, oh, this sounds good, what's the onboarding process like? I know you have a great offer for our community, but first I want to hear, walk me through how one client goes through MLive.
Happy to do that. And real quick, I did not go to dental school. I went to school for finance. So I'm coming at this from the other way. But I'm all about supporting entrepreneurs. And at the end of the day, dentists are entrepreneurs, but if they're out there promoting themselves in their practice, and they're the ones required to attract patients, they're not providing the care. So everything kind of falls apart. So we help fill that gap. So what an onboarding looks like for us, and again, it's all about making this about as easy as we possibly can for our clients. There is a very simple key requirement onboarding checklist that we need to have access to. And it's really just a questionnaire. You inform us about which direction you want to go as a practice. What areas of specialty are you focused on, if any? Are you more focused on attracting new patients, or are you more focused on engaging with your existing patients? And from there, that informs our campaign creation. And we're unique in the software space because we offer truly dedicated full-time concierge support folks. So that you call the phone number, you get a person. And we're carrying that through into, I'll give you an example of how we helped a client recently, and it's actually changing our product pretty significantly. Nice. We were generating leads for a client in the area of implants, right? So pretty straightforward, running ads, sending leads. We have a nice nurture and automation interface where our clients can manage those leads. Staff turnover. All of a sudden, there's no longer a treatment coordinator on site. Our client still wants new patients, but they don't have the person that's there to be able to answer the phone and qualify that patient. Her option is to turn us off, which she doesn't want to do. We said we will leverage our internal resources to help alleviate your staffing restraint.
I love that.
Those calls, we will qualify them, give us access to your calendar, and we'll take it full circle and put them right on your schedule. So it went from generating leads effectively and within the ROI that we were asked to do so, to changing our metric, which is now qualified patients on the calendar.
I love that. I mean, one of the things my team can put in the chat, outsource your annoyance and outsource your awesomeness. You're going to hear from the next guest. He totally deals in outsourcing annoyance. Yeah. You deal in outsourcing awesomeness. Awesomeness is bringing in new patients, but if you don't have the bandwidth, you don't have the people. I mean, the pandemic has taken the challenge of running a dental office, a dental circus, circus, and made it even tougher. We do not even have the people to help us. So sometimes we're so engaged with surviving the day, which is we just don't have time for awesomeness. So when you can outsource awesomeness to you guys, that's great. So the whole point of this is for me to get dentists to JFO. Just find out how you can do this. Sure. How can people reach out to you? We have our text code, text live to 215-543-6454. But how can they reach out to you guys directly?
mlivesoftware.com. Email me directly always, please. I'm happy to engage with the community. N Mahoney, Mahoney, at mlivesoftware.com. My background is all digital marketing, local marketing, over 15 years within the healthcare space. So I'm happy to provide input on services that we might not even offer.
And one of the things, I have someone who's watching in the background who took a lot of first free exercise classes, over around the city. And these demos are like that. I mean, every time I take a demo from any company, I learn something, even if I don't wind up utilizing the service at that time. You're always just learning amazing insight. So, just do the demo with you guys. It sounds like you can schedule a 20-minute strategy session by just going to mlivesoftware.com/nachos.
You got it. And at the end of the day, we help solve two of the biggest problems for practices. Leads don't convert, and staffing is harder and more expensive than ever.
Awesome, Neil. Thanks so much. Hang around. Really appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.
So we went from endo to bringing the patients you want. And now the next guest does one of my favorite things. I've used him in my office personally as a sponsor. I mean, collecting money from people who don't pay is one of the most annoying, morale-reducing jobs. So why not hire a ninja to do it? Andy Grover Cleveland, thanks for being here. Share it with us. For those who don't know, you've been a Nacho for a long time, but you do the work of the Lord G.V. Black. You really do. G.V. Black was a famous dentist. Tell us what Practice Ninjas does.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me, Paul. I'm really excited to be here. And I love the community that we have where we're just basically helping each other. Yeah. It seems like that's kind of missing in our world right now, just being very human with people and just trying to collaborate. So, again, love what you're doing. Bottom line, practices, whether pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, I would argue that reaching out to patients about money, I think that's okay for a certain period of time. But after a while, it's basically harassment. And so that's what I try to take that pain off of a practice. We have a team of people out of Columbus, Ohio. I partner with a collection company to actually call those people and help bring them back into the practice. So you're simultaneously getting people to communicate with the office to pay.
Right.
But then you're also having the opportunity of creating conversations to get those people back in the practice. Because in my 20 some odd years of experience, it's not that people don't want to pay the bill.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times that they're either taking advantage or they have other demands on their finances that are taking precedence. And one of the things you'll know, right? You're going to pay your car before your dentist. That's just the way the world works.
And I mean, our content here, as simple as you're Nacho nuts if you don't. Andy is one of the most positive people, and what they do is awesome. So just do his demo by texting Ninja to 215-543-6454. But what I would like to learn from you, Andy, and I know a good ninja never reveals his true secrets, but you're able to reframe some of these conversations. You've done it for our offices. What is this thing that happens? Our office manager, Kate, saying, hey, Andy, pay $100, pay $100. You know us, you like us. They don't do it. What do you guys do here? You don't have to reveal your secrets. I'm more just curious from the human element. What happens?
Listen, there's no trade secrets. It's not that like some letters or some ways of doing the phone calls is that much more effective. It's literally about delegating responsibility. And that's really what you've been hitting. You want to focus on the things that you love to do. Dentists don't love to, and really no one in the practice, unless you're just ultimately super sadistic, like collecting on your own accounts. That's just, if someone says they do, I'm like, don't want to meet them in a dark alley. But anyway, like just to get it off your plate and get it to someone else that's different. There's that perception from the public that it's escalating. It's going somewhere different. We all know what happens when you don't pay your bill, right? Your cell phone, your car, what happens. Dentistry, what happens is, okay, maybe you can pay us when we come see you next time you come, your next recare appointment's in 6 months, and then they never come back. Right. So we have to kind of break that down and motivate people to pay the bill and communicate with the practice to basically get it done. People value what they pay for.
Yeah, it's such a key part. What you're doing is just so great. I wish I met you earlier in my career. We just say, what do we pay Andy? Do we get more money than that? Use Andy, because you don't have to do any work. It's awesome. You also really do help us kind of see who can come back to the practice and sometimes who shouldn't come back to the practice. And who we don't have a good relationship with. You're the ultimate, cry reducer here, Andy. We have your text code. text Ninja to 215-543-6454. But how can people reach out to you directly?
So you can always, if you want to reach out to me, you can go to dentalpracticeninjas.com. That's the best way to reach me. That's not the name of the collection company that actually does the work, but that's the easiest way you can get a hold of me. And the other thing I just want to say, Paul, is we're very educational here.
Awesome.
Like you said, the dentist said it before us. There's 32 opportunities in someone's mouth for endo, and that just nailed me like a ton of bricks between the eyes. There's so much business out there. So my approach is, hey, we want to help people. Let's do what's right for them, even if it's getting them to go in a different direction.
Right.
If we can just dig in our hearts and treat people and serve people well, that's the best marketing you could ever do for your business. And
your point is so well taken there. I mean, I've gotten referrals from consults who've never moved forward, but they knew I told them about implants and their aunt had the money to do it. So when you just be kind to people and just give them a chance to learn from you, magic stuff happens. Abundance mind thinking. So thanks, Andy. Hang around for a minute. We're going to do one more interview, then we'll have a fun group thing here. But thanks for being an awesome ninja. Thanks,
Thank
Andy.
you, buddy.
So we've talked about learning endo, marketing your practice, collecting money. And now we're going to have someone who helps us keep track of stuff. I don't know about you. I have a hard time keeping track of things in 2021. So how can someone help us keep track of that thing we all want to keep track of, CE? I have another dentist on with me, Dr. Kristen. Dr. Kristen, first tell us about your daily dental life, then tell us about your awesome CE program.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Dr. Kristen Sani. I'm a general dentist in Montreal, Quebec. And I work just outside of Montreal, and we have a great practice here. And I'm a relatively recent grad. I graduated in 2016. I did a year residency. Cool. And then I was kind of just thrown into the dental world where, like you mentioned, Paul, you don't learn a lot of the stuff that you need on a day-to-day basis. Right. And, that's what CE started to come into tech. And I have a group chat, and that's actually where Zubu Education was built. And just to introduce what Zubu is it's actually a mobile application for any dental professional, dentist, hygienist, to help manage their continuing education, their certificates of completion, their expenses, and then also help them discover new courses from around the world in our marketplace setting where they can actually register and pay without ever leaving the application. And it's for iPhone and Android, and it's extremely user-friendly. And our priority is really creating this ultimate user end experience.
That's awesome. I mean, I love that trying to help solve this problem is a challenge for dentists. We need our CE for our state licenses. We genuinely want to learn, but also tell me a little bit more about, because like a Netflix or Amazon, some people like gory movies, some people don't. Some people like movies or rom-com, some people don't. So I imagine that you can kind of search and scroll for what would be attractive to you. Is that something they can do on the platform?
Absolutely. So the way it kind of came about is, like I mentioned, we have this group chat of all of us recent grads from McGill. And I noticed that on a daily basis, we would have these venting sessions. And a lot of it focused around like, I don't know how many credits I did last year. Hey, remember that course we did? Where's my certificate? You have to start emailing course providers to get your receipts and your certificates. And the general consensus was like, well, this is just the way it is. And that didn't sit well with me. I was like, well, that's not a valid reason for something to continue going forward. It's just saying, well, that's the way it's always been done. So I decided to make a change and address each problem that we face on a daily basis and solve it on our app, making it extremely user-friendly. Because now, like we're always on our smartphones. That's what the thing we have glued to our hands all the time. We're not sitting down.
My best friend right here. I don't go anywhere without him. And I also want to share, I'm a little older than you, but I've been providing CE and speaking for CE for 15 years, my favorite thing to do. So first of all, as a speaker for CE, I would sometimes be asked kindly to go give this presentation. Someone would email me after the presentation. They go, do you have the paper that I need? I go, I was the speaker. I don't barely have the paper. Or I would hand out the papers as the provider and no one would take them, but they would feel very good to annoy my team 2 weeks later. So if you could just get the papers in your phone, you're really doing a great job because you're bringing it into 2021. In all honesty, dentists are stressed out, but sometimes people are not good at following directions, right? So when they can just have it in literally one place on an app where you can say, my state board needs this, it's so much easier than trying to collect all these pieces of paper. What are some of the courses you guys have featured right now?
We actually have Dr. Sonia Chopra's course on our platform,
Oh,
which
awesome.
I found super funny. Yeah, we have some awesome course providers, even from around the world, incredible speakers. I invite you to download the app and check it out. And essentially the way it works is you download the app and you create an account, and that account is your one-time registration form.
Oh,
So
cool.
that gets rid of this repetitiveness of having to be bounced around from website to website, filling out the same questions over and over again every time you want to register for a course. Now, once you save that information, it's the same type of checkout process as other aggregators where you want to go register for a course, you click the button, you're now registered. You don't have to whip out your credit card, you don't have to fill out the form, you don't have to change websites and then start getting a million emails.
Yeah.
The credits are automatically
momentum is so key. People lose momentum a lot of things. You guys should name it you could My CE Pal, like My Fitness Pal, right? Everyone likes My Fitness Pal. They're always putting in their calories, nachos, so that's what you can do for that. So love that. How can people learn more about it? How can they go and register for a free account, which I think is awesome? What's the best way?
Yeah, so the app is completely free. All our features are completely free for dentists. You can go to either the App Store or Google Play and search for the Zubu mobile app. If you want to look more on it, we have our website, which is www.zubueducation.com, and you can get a little overlook there. And that's basically
Our team will put that in the chat. I really am so glad to connect with you face to face. Our CE anchor at Dental Nachos is on a 3-month vacation, otherwise known as having a baby. But when she comes back, I want to get our platform on there and our course on there. And also I'm connected with so many amazing speakers that their content would be so helpful. So thanks so much, Dr. Kristen.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, stay up here. We're all going to come back on and put everybody back on. And we're just going to do a fun round robin. So I'm always trying to connect people. ABC, always be connecting. You guys shared your awesome value about what you guys do, but I'm just curious, what is something you learned, something you thought about from one of the other speakers? Hey, I never thought about it that way, or this would be great for one of my clients. And as you're thinking about this, I want to encourage anyone there. We have our Super Dentist Boost coming up. Text SUPER to 215-543-6454 for just $8. If you own $8 and can watch in on your phone or your computer, you can earn CE. You can improve your dental core. You're going to hear from all types of speakers on every topic, from implants, practice management, restorative, and more. So I will start with you, Dr. Sonia. What's something you learned here today on Talking Nachos that was of value to you?
Oh my gosh, so much. Because as a practice owner, I also hate to collect money from patients. So now I know where to go for that. If, it's not that big of a problem in my practice, but now I know where to go because, again, you nailed it. Like now we're still within the pandemic. I'm just going to say post-pandemic because I want it to go away really fast. But, human resources are getting really, really slim. It's getting harder to find good quality people. And so when both Neil and Andy can be an extension of your practice, I think that is huge, especially with the way, I'm kind of victim to some turnover in my practice just because people move, their husbands get relocated and, they've got to go with them. These are two great opportunities. And I like how both of them really focus on not just like new patients, but actually existing patients and reactivation of those patients. And then with Kristen, I didn't even think about putting myself on to manage my own CE because I have to get my board recertification as an endodontist right now. And I'm like, crap, I need to organize this stuff. And so that's a perfect place. But also I realized as a course provider on her platform, she's really alleviating stuff off of me because then her users are going to stay more organized and not really have to message my team. So everybody's going to save time. It's just a win-win. So
you're like the bookkeeper. Awesome, Sonia. Neil, how about you? This is your first Talking Nachos, Neil. You'll be on more in the future, but share with us any insights you would like from the show. I think you kindly muted yourself, so we appreciate it. But now you're gonna. It was polite of you.
I was telling you how much I appreciated it. First, what I noticed right off the bat is really cool for me to see is that we've got multiple dentists who are in this seat presenting as entrepreneurs. So I think that's super cool. I love seeing folks who have a specialty, a craft, take it a step further and build a business around what they can offer and share it with others. So super cool. What was interesting, Andy mentioned, and maybe Dr. Paul, you mentioned it, but that from a payment collection standpoint, it can help inform your practice more than just where you're going to get your money or how much money you're going to get. do you want that patient moving forward? I'm all about optimizing the types of patients that you want to see. So I never would have thought to look there for that type of insight. Second, and I think it was Kristen, I never knew what a pain in the butt it is to manage CE. So
Yeah,
you opened my eyes to an entire new challenge.
it's crazy. I mean, we think back to the olden days. There was a platform that I was a member of for many years. There was nothing wrong with the platform, but many of us paid like $300 a year just so it would like keep track of our CE, which was totally on me, right? So, but like now we just have these solutions, like how Uber can bring you a driver. We just have great, affordable for all solutions. So thanks, Neil. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Andy, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like we have all of our own little niches, and it's so fascinating. I'm older than you, Dr. Paul. So like when I started out in the collections business back in 1998, right? Those were the days where it's pre-internet, basically, or internet was around, you know? We went to the library to do emails and stuff. But anyway, so that there's been a shift in dentistry in hyper specialization. Everyone's in their crafts. Back then, you just put a placard out in your yard and patients would come, and that was your attraction strategy. What really fascinates me too is the clinical part of dentistry. And every time I see these conversations on dental nachos, like, looks like their margins are off a little bit, or this is a occlusal something. And I'm thinking like, I don't even know what I'm looking at, but it is fascinating how the clinical part of dentistry interfaces with humans. Now, I am a human that doesn't know anything about clinical dentistry. So Dr. Sonia is talking to me about, I was just thinking like, I've only had 2 cavities, knock on wood, rock solid. But like, if I did need a root canal, I would just go to my general dentist. Like, he's a dentist. Yeah. I brought my daughter to my dentist and she needed a tooth pulled because she had a malformation on a tooth, but he couldn't pull it. And I'm like, you're a dentist. Can't you pull a tooth? Like, that doesn't make sense. So we got referred to the oral surgeon, and then, we got waiting for 3 weeks. But anyway, I'm very fascinated to kind of see how the public and dentists and the clinical part of dentistry intersect. And that's what kind of
I think it's an important point. I think it's happening. The more educated and informed a consumer, the better. Google can be a good friend, but also
or nightmare.
An enemy. But if we just get good, responsible information, like what Neil has Neil, please share some of those videos on our Nacho platform from key opinion leaders, because just the more good sharing, the better of what happens. Kristen, we'll wrap up with you. This is your first Talking Nachos. I hope you come to Philadelphia, and all of you come to Philly and meet us in person someday. But anything from the show, any insight you would like to share?
Of course. I just love to say how everyone here it's just such an amazing to have these partners out there from different realms, either of dentistry or in finance. And you really help alleviate, it's like a trend I find like in this conversation. Everybody's just trying to alleviate these pressures from the dentist so we can just focus on being amazing clinicians. So we don't want to have these awkward conversations with patients when it comes to money. We want to treat, we want to be the doctor, treat, have the results, do what's best for them. But then we don't want to ruin that relationship with them after by like harassing them to pay, right? But so that's like an awesome.
It's such a really good point to wrap us up with, because I've talked with Sonia on the phone, and everyone, there's such thing as dad guilt too, not just mom guilt. So it's Sunday. Do you spend time with your 7 and 3-year-old, or you do your laundry? It's Sunday. Do you spend time with your 7 and 3-year-old, or do you get ready for your week? And putting that in the practice owner's shoes, we want to spend that time with our patients, but we know what's banging around the back of our head is all these other things. So when you can outsource your annoyance and outsource your awesomeness, everybody wins. The patients, the team, and even us dentists, right, our morale. So thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Hang around for a minute. Facebook Live. We'll see you guys later.